Hello everyone. Before we get into this conversation between me and Ralf, who's an engineer, speaker and author of Blueprint for a Golden Age, the book, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have watched, commented, liked, shared our documentary. We have been welcomed here on YouTube like nothing I've ever experienced, with 80,000 people having watched the documentary now. So thank you. And the next documentary is being planned, and we are going to record it here when the leaves get back on the trees. And it's going to be really, really inspiring and interesting as well. But I wanted to start making these podcasts because to have something to fill the gaps between these documentaries, because they take quite a while to make. Yeah, so enjoy the conversation between me and Ralf. It's interesting. We're talking about how can we create a golden age here on Earth if we work together.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. I was so thrilled by your video, so that I commented actually, and it's a real project that is made for creating a good future, and it's very much in line what I am developing since the last 15 years or something, because I have realized that there are far too few people in the countryside. So everybody is pushing into the cities, and at the same time, the job opportunities are eaten up by AI systems, and industry is replaced by robotic industry, dark factories, if we have them now, so no light needed because no humans. And so we need to create something what is suitable for humans to have ways of occupation that are pleasant, that are creating real value, and contrary to the global economy, shall produce high quality in all aspects. And that's especially true for the food, because the food that we get in shops is usually deficient in many trace elements. It's harvested days ago, and this is not what really sustains us in a way of being of vibrant health, and that's what we should have. So that's one of the things. We should have more gardening, but then not just the old ways of monoculture gardening, but of course more permaculture style gardening. And my personal favorite is forest gardens, or gardening with perennials. And this is something where we get away from this tedious work that gardening still is for many people, but it must not be. And so this is about having good opportunities for people. And this will not be the people that are not finding jobs elsewhere, because those people who are active, who want to create a future, who have a vision, they will never have a lack of occupation, of jobs and so on. It's the people that are doomsday, everything is going down. And yeah, you can manifest that. That's not very difficult, but it's no fun, well, at least for me. And so that brought me into dealing with how to develop a good future. And this led to my latest book, Blueprint for a Golden Age. And it's about what can be done with cities. Of course, cities have their very, very severe limitations in being capable of assuring a good future when industry falls away, when those office jobs are replaced by AI systems. And this is reality already now. We see this every day. So that's not something up for debate, but this is a new reality. So the young people that move into the workplace, they won't find a lot. And so that's where we should become entrepreneurial and start something nice.
Okay. So this the golden age term, which is a term we both work with.
we made the show, the Golden Age show, and you have the book Blueprint for a Golden Age, which was kind of a fun coincidence. And can you just elaborate a little bit about like on how did you get started on this journey of like the Golden Age? Was it from somebody else, or have you like coined the term? I guess no one has coined the term. It's a widely known thing, but like this idea that we can actually create a golden age if we work together here on Earth. When did you get started with this, and how?
Well, that's my mission already since I've been at the university. So I studied water engineering, so dealing mainly with wastewater treatment. And I realized that the systems we have are not capable of assuring a good future, because we have, wastewater systems where toilets and the rest of the wastewater go into the same pipes. And that doesn't work out, because what goes into the toilets, our excrements, this is basically what should feed the soil in the long run to keep the nutrients on Earth and not polluting oceans with it, as it is happening today on a mega scale. It's absolutely crazy and outright ridiculous as a society. So I developed many things in like making systems. I did this with my consultancy first. So I had an engineering consultancy in Lübeck that was very successful. And so I was successful with making computer simulation of the large wastewater treatment plants like Bremen and Hamburg and Munich and so on. And that was so successful that I could afford to develop a lot of alternative systems that are meant to produce fertilizer from excreta and restore water, even on a local scale, even in cities, in a high quality. And if you don't mix, this is relatively simple. So when I finished what I had studied, I realized it's a complete, crazy system. It doesn't really work out in the long run at all. And I started talking about it. People laughed at me, and it was, I enjoyed sort of being the crazy rebel, but it wasn't always easy, I have to say. But through my success with my consultancy, this was nice for me, because I could just shrug that away and do my thing. And I also realized how slow society works. So when I started with this, I was not that much more than your age, because I always was concerned about like environment and what can we do. And it was not a mainstream topic at all at the time. We can't imagine this today, because today it's politically misused, I have to say. They create something what I call ecologism, made to create money flows to those billionaires that have too much already, instead of really doing something that is basic ecological thinking and creating systems that work out on every level.
Can you give an example of that? Because I just thought about, you said it has become a very like a popular topic, right? Also here I am finishing up the gymnasium here, and a lot of people from my class, they're, very engaged in this debate about climate and everything, especially climate, right? And I'm actually more interested in what we can do about, personally, about pollution and pollution of the oceans and also rebuilding the soil, like you talk about. So can you just elaborate a bit for people who don't know the term ecology? I can't really pronounce it, but the term you just mentioned.
Yeah, well, I call it ecologism. I don't know how many people use this term, because it has become a ideology rather than ecology. Because ecology is a science. We can really show how things work together, how systems are interacting. And a very good example is actually what you just mentioned, the issue of climate change. And the stunning thing is that if you take this subject really seriously on a ecology level, on environmental engineering level, you will find that it is really, really simple to balance the climate. Really simple. It is about the water cycle. It's about restoring soil health, building humus. And, well, by the way, this will create a lot more good food. So it is beneficial for people. But, of course, when we go there, there is a giant that is a bit nasty at times that is called the agricultural industry. And they want to keep their business. So they are having a lot of influence on policies through thousands of lobbyists, as we know. And so politicians don't dare to go to the real root issue, and that is depleting soil. So climate change is a lot worse than what we are told. And it is disruption of the water cycle. So if we don't have soils that soak up the water, so when it rains, healthy soil soaks up the water very fast. And that's necessary to replenish the groundwater, to have water all year round, that the plants are having the water, and that also there is a lot of evaporation year round. We will have formation of clouds, that is balancing the climate. We will have more rain. And it's not simply a like water cycle from the oceans to the land, but it goes from ocean to land, to land, to land, to land, to land, on average 7 times on land. So it's crucial how the soil is, behaving. And unfortunately, through clear cutting of forests and through industrial agriculture, a vast proportion of the soils around the world are more or less dead. And so they don't take up water anymore. If you have rain, such land just has runoff. They call it flooding, but it's like dead soil. And on the other hand, we have drought, because when the water is running away, so in flatlands it's not soaking in but evaporating right away. And we need soils like a sponge, so that there is if there is excess of water, it must. And I'm from water sciences. I was director of a research institute at Hamburg University of Technology. So I was a chair of a research institute in this field. It's very logical, very clear, and everybody knows this. It's like we need, or everybody should know it. In fact, it is ignored widely, even in the water profession. And the thing is that if soils behave like a sponge, then we will have replenishing water tables. We will have water around the year. And we will have much less demand for irrigation, because the irrigation that is everywhere is just a consequence of dead soil and bad water management. And with that said, the climate is there are 2 major impacts on the climate. One is the water cycle, evaporation, cloud formation, condensation, and also a little bit of greenhouse effect from water gases water in the atmosphere, so water vapor basically. And that is 1.7% of the atmosphere. And now, as the solution for this leads to something that is sort of very, very difficult for politicians, and another factor, not really attractive for the people that want to pile up their billions, then this is something where, like, politicians, they shy away because they want to make their careers. They don't want to be bashed and criticized. And so it's us, the people, that have to build this future by ourselves. And that's what brought me basically to the idea of Blueprint for a Golden Age. And this is the Golden Age is something like from the knowledge of India and many other parts of the world. Basically, it was everywhere in all ancient cultures. It's in buildings that are thousands and 10,000s of years old. This is the precession of the equinoxes. So this is like the great year or 25,000 year cycle. And this makes us getting more exposed to higher energy from the center of the galaxy. And this is now, we are on our way up. So that's good news. So we had the dark ages, as they call them in India, and there is very little energy. So that's something, little vital energy. So people have to fight hard to stay positive, not to get depressed and so on. And now we are on the wobble out. So it's like it gets better every year. A long-term process, but that's the basic term for golden age. And what is important for me, my book is Blueprint for a Golden Age, not for the Golden Age, but for a Golden Age that we create. We as humans, as Earth humans, we are capable of creating this. And that's the idea behind it. There are hundreds of proven solutions. Everything is there, but it's like something that it profits the people, it profits nature, but it doesn't profit the billionaires that are sick in their greed. So it's like these people need help. So it's like I have compassion for them because that's sort of a harsh fate to be super rich. I know some of them. It's like you don't get happy automatically, just more to the contrary. Mm-hmm. And people can earn money, but they should earn money with something that is supportive to other people, that is respecting the health of the environment. And that's why I'm promoting more local economy, local production in a way that you have outlined in your rural project also that you have described.
Okay. There was a lot of things. There are some things I would like to dive deeper into. The first thing was just I didn't quite understand how you said that when we have this soil that acts like a sponge, then I can see how that can like counteract the drought and also the massive rainfall and like kind of balance it out. But how does that have anything to do with when we think about climate change? Is that because we think that the symptom of climate change is like, I guess I guess those kind of fit together nicely actually now that I think about it more. Okay, I just think I just asked a little bit of a dumb question there, but can you help me just understand that completely?
No, it's absolutely correct to ask this, because it's like we are like always told something that is more like a political business model rather than a solution for an environmental problem. So climate change is real. It's much more severe than we usually think, because the destruction of the water cycle leads to a steppe and then to desert. And so if this goes on, and it doesn't, it's just Europe. Europe is stupid today. Europe is the worst continent in the world at the moment, in my point of view. We are ecologically lousy. We destroy our soils the fastest, and many other regions in the world are starting to restore. Even North America, they go for regenerative agriculture much more than Europe. But it's developing. That's one of my topics. I also promote regenerative agriculture because that's also a way to restore soil health within a few years, and farmers are actually profiting for this. And we can link also presentations of mine, if you like, under the video so that people can have a closer look. This is all soundly scientifically based, but it's not science that makes big money flows with no work. So that's something what is the challenge, so to say, because if something serves people, it's people that must do it. It will not be done by anybody else. So those issues with like breaking down of the water cycle, that is really making whole regions completely different. You may know of what is called Middle East, a very crazy name. It's West Asia. Middle East from where? Yeah, from Europe. It's like Eurocentric. It's ridiculous. So West Asia, there is Lebanon, and it used to be, that whole region used to be a green area that was very, very productive. And today it's a steppe and it's very hot. I've worked there, so many regions are really only desert and you can't produce much there, except one valley that still has water. And so that's the destruction even since thousands of years that was made for the battleships. So they cut down the forests to make war. And then, the climate changed from a balanced climate into something extremely hot days, very cold nights, the desert climate. And that's not pleasant. And the whole planet could still go there if everybody would behave like Europeans. And luckily, other regions are seeing how things can go. So there is huge projects, for example, in India, where they restore rainwater harvesting, permaculture projects, and this is spreading like wildfire also in Africa. And if somebody wants to get back to a positive attitude towards life, I would really recommend to look at the videos of Andrew Millison, permaculture channel. And he is reporting about how to create a food forest in a steppe area, and then it is producing a lot of food. This area, even a small one, is not hot anymore, but it's 20 degrees lower temperature in there because that's natural cooling. So people have a good life there. They get all the food they need from a small space. They can even sell food to the surroundings and have a good life there. And so this is now spreading from the people, through people, from the people. And such videos, I've been teaching this since around 15 years. And I left university age-wise last year. And this class, how to restore a region, was cancelled right away. And it was the most popular master's class at the whole university there. And especially people from, we had many from India, Pakistan, and other parts of the world. They were thrilled when they heard what can be done. And now this was cancelled because, there are forces in our society that don't want good solutions because that makes them sort of, we don't need the politicians anymore if we get things going, and they cannot create these huge money-making schemes with like taking a side effect of climate change that is not wrong, but it's just not the biggest. The two big ones is the one I've mentioned, it's the water cycle, very obvious, you just need to go outside, you see that. And the second one is solar cycles. And like the solar cycles are going up and down. And for us in the north, it's a pity because we are going colder. And that's something that is very clear from the huge cycles of the solar eruptions that are sort of our heating system. So our heating system is getting less efficient over the next decades, and that is not good news in my point of view. But also that can be balanced by having good vegetation, because that makes the weather patterns more balanced anyway, gives good food, gives also wood for energy if we don't get to like the 0 point energy soon, that is already there since decades but is kept from us. And so it's like I hope these things are not too controversial for your channel. Just edit them out otherwise.
Yeah.
But these are things, I've seen these things myself. So we have completely different energy systems already.
That was one thing I was going to ask you about. There was a point in the book where you talked about having seen these 0 point energy. And for people who don't know what that is, can you just explain what the idea behind 0 point energy is, and what? I've seen a documentary about like how it's been suppressed, this technology, because there's so huge interests in oil and gas and all these other energy sources that would be obsolete if we got this technology. So can you just explain it to someone who haven't seen that documentary, haven't heard about it before?
Yeah, well, there's a lot on the internet, but unfortunately also a lot of nonsense. So the solutions that are often offered for clickbait, they are often absolutely exaggerated. So you must really have some background knowledge to be able to navigate. But the basic thing is that even from conventional, dogmatic science, I have to say, because science is something wide and open and not limited by peer review, and you cannot say this, you cannot say that. So even from conventional science, it's absolutely clear that there is this thing that is called 0 point energy. So that's nothing weird. So it's like that's normal science. But the thing is that this energy source is sort of omitted. So it's left out because this would lead to human freedom so fast that you wouldn't be able to run global companies anymore. Or maybe there would be if they have good products, but they cannot just sell old-style stuff for high prices that are even destroying the environment. So that's something that is absolutely crazy. And there is some examples of the potential of this energy. And so one is, if you take 1 cubic meter of just space around you, and the 0 point energy in this cubic meter would be sufficient, if we could harness that, would be sufficient to get all the oceans of the world boiling. And so that's a bit of energy. So why do we still have these lousy combustion engines? It's crazy.
But the issue, okay, so you say the scientists agree that there is this 0 point energy. That's not the question. The question is about do we already have the technology to harness it? And is this correct that like I've had physics in school, but not on a high level. So I know how the like most people probably like how the atom is, the model of the atom, and the question is what makes the electron spin around, and what is that energy that makes the whole thing spin at the lowest level, right? And I think also. There is this nuclear energy that holds the nucleus together, the proton and the also, if you go even deeper, the quarks that hold them together. So in my mind, that is the 0 point energy. But I don't know if that's correct.
No, it's not. It's okay. What is behind what we perceive as mass. It's sort of a superfluid that is like making up all of the universes. And this superfluid, through specific conditions, can form matter. And there is even science for that. That is not the mainstream science, but it's leading edge science by Dan Winter. And you may have seen that in my blueprint book, there are all these Dan Winter notes. So he's the one, maybe at other times it was Leonardo da Vinci or something. So these polymath geniuses that are sort of going to very new fields, having new theories. And he has, found that matter is created in a very specific way. So he can describe that mathematically. And basically, it's something where such a wave, so it's all vibration. I think that's agreed even by conventional physicists. It's all vibration. And the matter in the matter is basically nothing, because if you put everything what is sort of considered solid of the whole planet Earth and leave out the space in between, like if there's the proton here, the electron would be like a few kilometers away. So it's basically nothing. Yeah. And if you just take away the hollow spaces, the whole Earth would be as much as a tennis ball or even less. So it's all vibration, and so it's about what makes the vibration. So if you go to a classical concert, there are many musicians that play their instruments, and they make beautiful noise. And then you can have this experiment. It's done even in physics classes. You have a plate, put fine sand on it, and then you let it vibrate in a specific tone. You have seen that probably. And then there are tones that are harmonic. And then they build very, very intrinsic patterns on this plate, just from a harmonic sound. Then you tune up the sound or down, and it's just chaos again. And the same is true for the space. It's sort of an orchestra of vibration, and matter is produced by going from the sound waves that we produce now in talking, transversal waves, so they go up and down. And then there is a harmonic condition where this sound wave becomes a longitudinal wave. And longitudinal is also called scalar. It's a wrong name, but it's longitudinal. So it vibrates this direction. And this, it goes through a threshold, very, very fine. It's the Planck length that we know in physics, the smallest that exists on Earth. And going through there, this change from this transversal wave to longitudinal, that is what we perceive as matter. Mm-hmm. And the main thing is it is created by a consciousness. It's the plan, the blueprint. So also in the big picture, there is a blueprint. So it's like the orchestra is played by some plan, and it sounds nice. If nobody follows a plan, it's just chaos and it's ugly. And our planet is so nice, so basically we should make it a lot nicer even, and that's so easy.
Okay, that's really interesting. Is the experiment where you said the transversal waves become longitudinal? Is that a slit experiment where you have like waves of water going into the? Or no, that is maybe the interference.
No, but you are right. It's like it goes that direction, because that experiment shows that, our consciousness has an influence on matter.
Yeah.
And this is also conventional physics, quantum physics. So if there is an observer, this matter behaves differently. So even our consciousness as Earth humans, and we are not very evolved as we are here. We are on a different level, but we have to sort of unfold that a bit, or we should. And so this is, even in this phase with a very, say, low density or in a very restricted environment, speaking from a consciousness point of view, even here we can influence matter by observing it. And that is part of making matter, but we cannot make this individually normally, but as sort of a group of human, as a society that sort of sees a house here, and by everybody seeing a house, we are sort of reinforcing the symphony that makes a house appear. Basically, there's nothing. So it's just like vibration. So it's like, it sounds crazy, but this is actually normal quantum physics. But they don't want to go there, that there is a consciousness that is making it. And without consciousness, this is ridiculous. And even Max Planck, so the Planck length, named after one of the most famous physicists of the world, Max Planck, he said, matter is not possible without consciousness. So he has also seen that this is, the cause of matter. And now Dan Winter has described how this works on a level that we can understand. The formula, it's sort of the world formula. It's a grand unified theory with a very simple formula that includes the harmonics, the phi, 1.61 something, and the Planck length or Planck time. So that's there's a lot more in the book. So we cannot really cover this in what we do now. But it's like there's a lot more. Also, see Dan Winter's channel. It's stunning at the beginning, but then you see it's really consistent. And it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. So he has written books. Also, you can find, I guess, or just on his YouTube.
Yeah, no, he has written books. His latest book is Planck Fire. And there is also Tufan Guven, who has made it understandable, because Dan Winter is very hard to understand. And but he's also a great man. I work with him, and I give seminars in the Pyrenees in April, working with him. So there is a school of spiritual sciences that is getting implemented, and I will start teaching there from April next year. So whoever is interested, there will be seminars on geomancy and also of releasing personal blockages. So these are my first seminars I will be giving there. And these people that are looking more in a holistic way, they are very interesting people, because they are interested in many things. While from my career in the university, so I was highest level university prof, and the colleagues, the profs and other people working in science, they are usually really nice people. But it's for a lot of them, it's relatively boring to talk to them, because they are with their topic, and once you go to something else, they sort of start yawning, what is this about? So many of these people are very narrow-minded, and that makes careers, because if you keep going narrow-minded, you can really push one paper after the other. You get recognition in a tiny little field that doesn't even matter at all in many places, but for that you get a new contract for the next 2 years. So it's sort of an idiot's game.
Okay. I just would love to hear, just before we continue into a different topic, about the fact that you have experienced, you've seen this 0-point energy being harnessed, or wasn't that right? Can you just explain how that happened?
Yeah, I have seen a few things that are not explainable by conventional science. And for example, one magnet, when you turned it around, north stayed down. So you could turn that magnet around and north stayed always down. So that's crazy. But I have visited a lab of an inventor who has recently died at like sort of older age, but he also was attacked a lot. He was pulled in court and so on. And he has developed several things that are working and proven. One is where you make from 1 liter of water and 1 liter of diesel, you make 2 liters of like super fuel, rocket fuel. And but you cannot repeat that with that mix. But so even doubling diesel would help out a lot. This is known since decades, and has been suppressed for obvious reasons. But it's like we as humans are now stopping to accept this. This is coming out now. It's like it's probably in the US first. I think we are in Europe, we are really so much ingrained in backwards thinking and repetitious type of education that we have, maybe we will find some people that figure things out. But the other thing I've seen, and that was in the lab as well, and a friend of mine has made a scientific study on it and has proven that it does work that way. And there's actually a huge company now that is in the process of purchasing this technology. And the other thing I saw that was also quite amazing, there was an electric motor, 4.5 kilowatt. So it's a motor that has a size of like, it's not huge, but it's already pretty heavy. And this was coupled to a generator that is generating power. So electric motor coupled to a generator with a huge mass to keep it going, inertia mass. And the magnets of this generator were modified in a very, very subtle way. It's very difficult to make something like this. And that's what I said initially. It's so misleading what many YouTube channels are saying. They say, make this, and then. But no, it doesn't work. If people do it, they are disappointed. It is much more complex, but it is available. And this engine had an input, and they put it on when I was there. So roughly 4.5 kilowatt input, and the output was roughly fluctuating a bit, but roughly 8 kilowatts. So this is called over unity, and this solves all the energy problems. And unfortunately now this man has died, and he has made his mistakes. These people often want to make the huge money, so they asked for hundreds of millions for their inventions, and that's hitting back on them, what happened to him as well, unfortunately. But yeah, basically this is available, and I don't think it can be suppressed much longer, because it's like so many people know about this, and many people work on it. And it's not only him, there are so many people that are doing it, and now people are wise enough to not put this out to the public in a very big way.
Yeah, that's the classic. They think they have they're like going to be the first trillionaire because they have this, if they just get the patent for this thing, and then the patent office comes and
yeah,
something
absolutely.
happens. Can you talk about the there's in the book you mentioned this like collective energy of some sort, and I think I can't remember if that's what you call it exactly, but is this like life force energy that we all have? And you talked about also the cycle that we're on. that is some very new thing for a lot of people, also for me. So can you just explain what is this energy in the blocks that you have worked with? Removing these blocks from the energy, and what is the effect from that work?
Yeah, it's basically really life energy. It's the vital energy that is all around us. Without that, we wouldn't live. No plant could grow. And so the level of vital energy is of vital importance. So that's something where we have this energy also. It's linked to the 0 point field, 0 point energy. 0 point energy, the better word is ether, the ether. But if physicists are saying either, their career is ended. It's a complete no-go, because that's where the interesting things are happening, and they are done in the hidden, in military labs, in secret labs, in different parts of the world. And since decades, it's like things have been developed since many, many decades. And there are lots of witnesses for that. So this energy is there, it is used. But the more important part of this energy is that it makes us alive. It's like without vital energy, we would be getting depressed or too little. Let's say the vital energy around us is getting smaller. And now imagine like high-rise building with like steel structures, and in a city where there is a lot of electrosmog and a lot of disturbances. So the vital energy there will typically be very low. And the consequence that you see first is that people get depressed. So they don't have, much interest in developing their own thing. They are sort of getting like dark thoughts, and they are going into doomsday scenarios. Maybe they are that popular because we have so many people that are seeking this out because they are depressed. And the same is true also in the landscape. And this vital energy force, it's something that all the ancient cultures or also other cultures are having as a key element in them. And only our ignorant Western materialistic science, dogmatic science, has excluded this for obvious reasons. As we talked, they want to keep this for themselves, so they make people believe this doesn't exist. And who talks about this is called an idiot, and so on. And this has gone on for hundreds of years, basically. But we are wisening up. It could not be suppressed. And like for the Chinese, this is the key. In India, it's the prana, and other cultures have different names for that. And this is the life energy that is formed from the ether. So the ether is not only universal, but the trans-universal superfluid from what you can make matter with a good plan. And here on Earth, we perceive this in a way of feeling it. We can also test this with divining rods, for example. You know these divining rods? So it's like...
What is that now? I don't know it.
If you search water or water veins, you have such rods to test. And these devices are... all this knowledge is lost, sort of. It's common knowledge in my generation, even decades ago.
What did you have to search for? Water rod?
No, it's not. It's divining rod. Divining rod. And such rods can be used to find such.
Okay.
You have a word for it?
I guess it's the thing they use when they like make a well. So they go
Yes,
around with
yeah,
these, and they like move when there's
yeah,
water.
absolutely. And I'm a geomancer, so I'm working with these rods, and you can use them to find the uh, ley lines or the power lines, so to say, of the vital energy. And these ley lines are sort of the power supply for plants, for animals, for humans, and for all there is, basically. And in this superfluid that we can call ether, there are certain pathways where the energy is very high and transported, and these are, well, they are huge. So they are 2 kilometers high, and well, the big ones are like 20, 30, 40 meters wide. And I'm actually sitting in one here in my house. By coincidence, I built my house on a very large ley line, what is great.
Okay.
And of course, I built in a way that it's sort of raising energy. So it's like the architecture is in a way that it's harmonic. And so that would also raise the energy in a room or in a house. And this is something what is what you feel. People feel well. They say, one lady who was a young lady who was here with a group of my students, and she said when she was in my house, she said, "Oh, I don't want to leave. This is so nice." And that's how houses should be, and not like concrete walls. And also the edges should be sort of rounded out. This is better for the vital energy flows. So even if you don't have the possibility to live in a really well done harmonic building, you can do the little things. And it's also the attitude. So if you have a positive attitude that I see in you, for example, you have a, like, you want to do something and you have a mission, you want to participate, you want to create a better future. And we, as people who are doing this, we are having high energy, because this is what gives us a lot of energy. If you do something you really love to do, you're full of energy, even if the circumstances around you are not that great. And so that's something what is maybe the best advice. People should really do what they really love to do, and this will give them a good life, and they will be successful. If you do something what you hate, you will not really get anywhere. And now it's about creating a good future or a golden age, participate to create our golden age, the golden age for humans. And so this is something what gives a lot of opportunities to do what you really, really want to do.
I think that's what is really great about also your book and the work you've done. Is like, when I read it, I was like, okay, this is the book that all the open-minded young men who are struggling, like there are a lot of people, young men who are struggling with just being in this society where it's so based on like consumption, and the big tech companies are trying to get your attention and trying to give you poisonous food and everything. So it's like a very difficult, especially I think, of course, I can best speak as a man, and I think it's very difficult for a man to just be reduced to being a consumer. Yes. Also, for women, they have issues with comparing themselves, and there are other things that are difficult there. But especially, I can feel like if I don't feel like I'm contributing and creating, that really drains me. And I think that was what was so important about the work you've done with like assembling all these, the main threads of what makes up a golden age. Because I think it's basically like, I thought about it was, we have to make like a job bank for like young men or just people in general who want to contribute to the golden age, because there's so many things you can start doing. And you can find something that aligns with what you are good at and what you love doing, and that also contributes. And that is a very powerful thing. You of course have to have something that you're passionate about, but also if you're just doing it for yourself, I think there's a limit to how much vital energy you can derive from it. So when it becomes something bigger than you, that is a shift I've recently done, where it's like the work I'm doing is now for other people mainly. And then there's so much more value in that than just like trying to make money and everything. So I think it was really empowering for the young men that there are so many things they can get started with. I guess if you haven't really done projects before, then it can still seem kind of overwhelming. So I think, can you speak to like if there's a person out there who want to get involved with this, maybe they've seen the documentary, read your book, and they're like, okay, there's so many things that we have to improve, and they're all laid out here. Some of them are already developed highly, and you reference a lot of experts that people can go out and learn from. So how can people get started with contributing? If you can speak a little bit to those people.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely the point, to really find out what we really, really want to do in this life. And that's something where I see, especially also in your generation, because my daughters are sort of your age, and there is so much, like confusion of what can I do, what can I contribute, everything is there. And yeah, exactly, also just being a consumer and targeted all the time for like buying this, buying that. It's something where we should first find what are we really passionate about, what is really making us happy in what we do. Also be entrepreneurial. We cannot always expect to be offered a job, but we can like do some sort of internship somewhere, and then we contribute there. We have free housing and free food, and we can like explore and develop something. There are so many volunteers programs also, like for gardening, and so that can be really a good starter. And you can do a lot more. You have more freedom to develop things in the rural areas. Like in cities, everything is very expensive, everything is restricted. Your rent is eating you up, so you need to do some lousy job just for paying your bills. And that's not attractive in my point of view. And that's why Blueprint is a lot about moving out to the rural areas and developing them, improving the soil, what helps everybody, and with that producing very, very high quality of food. And then there is a lot of opportunities to make products from that, because if you just produce vegetables or something, it's very difficult to get good payment from that. But you must at the same time process some of it, make products from that, and then be the direct distributor. Go directly to your customers. Tell them why your soil is so good, that this has all the trace elements, even with the lithium. And if you have lithium as a trace element, you are able to experience joy. So many people are depressed because they have a lack of the trace element lithium. And so good food and happiness are also linked strongly. And then there is something what I consider two of the most crucial jobs to be done. And one is to help people to find out who they really are. And this is something where we grow up in a society and on a planet where the normal thing, normal in parentheses, the normal thing is that people live with a lot of blockages from trauma, entanglement with grandparents and so on. And they don't really know who they are. And this never goes away. I'm still releasing stuff for myself sometimes. But there are methods how to release blockages, and such systems are available. Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt is a genius in that field. There's probably also people that are practicing that in your country. And that would be something where people can learn this, help people to release these blockages. And I have developed a quick method, and I haven't put this into Blueprint because it will become a different book, what is getting ready. And this is so rewarding because, like in sessions for personal development, it's a coaching, so you don't need certificates and stuff, what you need in the medical profession. But it's a coaching method where you can release the most severe trauma for the most severe thing that goes wrong in your life or is holding you back in like 30 minutes or something. And I do this as group work. It's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, if you like, we can organize such an event together, because it's like small groups, like 6 people, and people can learn it from that, but they get major relief in their own lives. And then you can really feel much more, what is my inner calling? Where do I want to go? And so that's something what I do a lot. And then I do a lot of geomancy classes to like raise the energy in houses, in the surroundings. And so it's on both ends. So releasing the trauma in people will raise their energy, and then releasing the trauma in the landscape or stopping the theft. It's like there is a lot of theft of vital energy, because vital energy is the most precious resource in all the universes, obviously, because without that you can't live. And so it's stolen by entities that are parasitic entities, or like parts of that is demonic. And so it gets pretty crazy, but this is getting real. It took me a long time. So it's like, unfortunately, we don't often talk between different generations. So it's like, I'm glad that you're interested, and it's interesting to find out that we share a lot of similar ideas. And I have decades of experience now, and it has always been something that the younger ones look, is there something interesting that older ones have to offer? And this has been lost because most people are lost in the mainstream stuff that is boring. And so a lot of older people are really boring because they are repeating the same stuff. But there are people, and it's just a smaller percentage of also older people that stay sort of young in their mind and always exploring new things. And this is really rewarding because we can build on some decades of experience and still learn new things, but we become efficient in some of these things. So I'm really good at teaching geomancy and clearing up the energy in whole regions, and this releasing of blockages. I did the whole education with Dr. Klinghardt's system, so I have learned that and developed this coaching method from that. That is absolutely fantastic in my point of view. And then I'm also like working in restoration, like building forest gardens and all that, and having excellent food that is at the same time. Good food is detoxing us. Good food is giving us all the trace elements, including the lithium, the element that can make us perceive happiness. And so this is all linked together. And then the water cycle will be running. And there we are sort of closing the loop, getting back to where we began with the water cycle that is so crucial also for having a balanced climate, but having food, having also like a nice region to live in. And I rather live in a region with lots of food forests than in boring agricultural fields. And that can be converted very, very fast.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we saw in the documentary we made about this regenerative permaculture. It's like a family who has regenerated the soil, and it was amazing to see over just like 12 years how it was just a cornfield for 20 years of just conventional farming, and then you can measure the amount of organic matter in the soil, and it's just through the roof. So it's amazing. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Also,
it's sort of miraculous. It's sort of miraculous what we can do, and everything is there for a good future, for a golden age. Hundreds of proven solutions, and that's so interesting because many people will be saying, gardening is not for me. But what about part-time? What about having a forest garden where you go a few hours a day, climb the trees to like work up there, and then go back to the desk or to your healing work or to your teaching work or whatever you do? Having more than one occupations, that's what I think is crucial. Not sitting at the desk every day, or the whole day, but being out there. And I combine this since many years now. I have a forest garden here. It's just here besides me. So I convert a monoculture pine forest into a food forest. And I've planted a lot of sweet chestnut trees and walnut trees and hazel and so on. And so that's very high quality food. And it's so rewarding to see these trees growing. And the results will be more for your generation, but then it can go on for hundreds of years. And that's absolutely stunning because like these monocultures, you do a lot of work and you create grain that is not really a good food. Wheat is horrible, many aspects, and the monoculture is absolutely crazy compared to what nature does. And like if you have sweet chestnut trees, they can give food for hundreds of years. It's gluten-free, it's very high quality, it has all the trace elements because these roots of the trees go deep down, but they must have the mycorrhizal fungi, and that is the bolus mushroom in this case, one of the highest quality edible mushrooms that there is. And so that's something where we really have a lot of options to create great life for the people. And as I said, if we don't do this for ourselves, others will make their business with us, and then we are just consumers and pushed to the side because like our wealth creation is crumbling. If we don't have jobs, we won't have income. And this AI is incredibly smart, and that's something where we must be aware that all the repetitive stuff is disappearing in the workplace. And maybe it's good that it is, because like why should people do repetitive stuff that is, well, boring anyway? But then now creating the future that we want, creating an environment where we want to live in with lush forest gardens, working with the neighbors. So I'm not especially fond of close-knit community life because that never works, because people have their blockages and all that. But having a great neighborhood, interesting people around you, and I have that here in my place. So I'm glad that I found something like this. But even here it's far too few people that are entrepreneurial. So there's a big lack of becoming entrepreneurial. And that's a man's thing. So a man goes out and starts some business. So it's like, and I hope that many of your generation will become entrepreneurs, start their little business or try different things and dare to fail. No, not everything is successful.
Can we talk a little bit about the AI? You speak about it in the book, and about how it will basically eliminate all of the repetitive labor and free up all these people, and it's kind of double-edged thing, because it seems kind of scary. What are we going to do then when that happens, and how quickly is that going to happen? Also, can we just start with that?
Yeah, it's happening already now on a much larger scale than we see. Europe is lagging behind. In the US, the big companies are laying off people like crazy. And it's very clear that this is, on one hand, as you said, it's double-edged. On one hand, it can give humans freedom to do creative things, to do the things they really love to do. But on the other hand, all the cultures around the world are built on creating added value. We must create something, and if we expect we are freed from this nasty labor, but then we get our paycheck every month anyway, that will not work out. Sorry, because there is no revenue stream anymore. Europe is bankrupt on a scale that has never been there, and the money to hand out to people is simply not there anymore. It's still handed out, but this is from debt on debt on debt. So we must be aware that these systems are a lot more fragile than we think. And so to build something up, we can use AI as well, because we can make it work for us. And there is free AI, and there is one great system that was developed by a food safety activist in the US, and that is Mike Adams, and he was the first one to be thrown off the huge platform where videos are normally shared. And so he made his own platform now, and he has now built a free AI system with the knowledge on natural health, on food for health, on nutrition in general, on permaculture, how to build soil, and much, much more. This system is available for free. You just have to enter bright, like hell, like bright, a bright future or something. Bright U, one word, U for university, and .ai, brightu.ai, and you can ask it any question, also for natural health, natural remedies, and a lot more. And this system is the crazy thing for it is that this system is you can download a version. You can actually download the whole file of it and have your local AI system that cannot be switched off with the internet anymore, because that's always the threat. So if power disappears, there is no more internet. And then with having your own desktop system requires a little bit of compute power, but it's very doable. And that's something where we have the opportunity to learn the things that can create what we really want to make for ourselves, for society, and what we want to contribute. And then we don't need those universities anymore where restoration classes are stopped as soon as possible, as the rebel has disappeared who brought that in. This stuff, the restoration, is not in universities, hardly at all. It's crazy. It's the most important thing on the physical plane, to build up healthy soils and come to other ways of agriculture. but that is not very much happening at universities at all. And so with such AI systems, and I think there should be something like a mentoring program, so that we would have mentors that are saying, okay, what are your interests in the basic interests? First, you do some release of your blockages so that you are really free. You know who you are, sort of. And then with a little discussion, it can be found out, wow, that's what I really, really want to do. And then ideally something that is like more like with working with your hands, and something that is working on a desktop or with your own brain. And then these AI systems can be your university. So we don't need these central and often expensive universities anymore, because if we get a mentoring program and get some people together, so get some people from the region that are interested in similar topics, and they make their own school, just meeting somewhere, and with a free AI system, and of course with the others as well, there can be like research type of learning, and that's a lot more efficient than the frontal teaching in a class. It's absolutely inefficient. But if you do learn from research, and well, I know that Scandinavia is ahead in that field, because there seems to be more schools that are more research oriented and not so much in frontal teaching. But this is something where, like, doing your education in your own region, you must not like go to Hamburg or like Copenhagen or wherever where life is expensive, and then you are at a university, and instead of learning something what is helping you, you learn the old ways that are gone already, and that are destroying the environment, destroying humans, and so on. And many people don't want to be part of that anymore. And now it's up to us to create such things. And as I said, everything is there, and you agreed to that. And so that's something what I really like, that you are one of the few ones to like think a little bit out of the box and look what can happen in society. And I can tell you from my experience, this is very rare. So there are not that many people who have this systems thinking, this big picture thinking. And that is why the things I do are not really getting viral, because like from the importance of the issues, people should know about this, but it's like really difficult to get people interested. But there are some active people that get it right away. They have thought in the same direction, and then boom, there we go. And so, and this is great now that you are sort of also bringing this out to your audience.
Yeah, it's it's. I think a lot of people would find it interesting. Maybe it's, but you feel like there's pushback when you deliver your talks or what, or on social media mostly.
No. To the contrary, people are really interested, but these are the people that come to my presentations or visit my own YouTube channel. There's a lot actually in my YouTube channel, also the older stuff. There is also whole classes in there on restoration and things like that. So it's a lot of interesting stuff there, also in English. And no, I find that people are very interested in the issues once they get exposed to it. But like getting started, so what makes you look at this? That's the thing. And that's something where too few people have the opportunity to learn that there is something like a great vision for the future. It's basically, it is well known from the very wealthy entrepreneurs of the last century. They built their wealth with a clear vision. So it's absolutely clear. If you have a very clear vision and keep working on this vision, develop it, make it more detailed, talk to people about it, consult others, and start to go. These people were very, very successful. But then we as humans in a sick society, we have to say, sick on many levels. In such a sick society, we don't have a plan. So that's why I wrote Blueprint, because this is not there. I looked for like a book like that, but there is none that is sort of really systems thinking based on things that are doable. And the approaches that I'm quoting, it's almost everything is proven since many years or decades, like many of the solutions of permaculture and like forest gardening and also the water systems. And I was really the pioneer in innovative water systems worldwide even. And nobody has developed more innovative systems than me, high-tech and low-tech. And there is, the ferry Helsingør to Helsingborg, if you've ever ridden that, on the Swedish side, it's Helsingborg, the city there. And maybe you pronounce it differently. But there is a new part of the city of Helsingborg. And it's what's Oceanham or something like this. But it's a huge development for thousands of people. And they, after 30 years, when I have built something like that 30 years ago, now they make it on a scale for thousands of people. So there, this new settlement where the ferry is landing, this has a wastewater system that is based on what I have developed 30 years back. Because these ideas are proper engineering. It's not some wild idea to make money, but it's something that is basic things. If we want to have a good future, we need to bring what we eat back to the soil that feeds the plants. As simple as that. And not directly to food as well, but it's like building humus with that.
Yeah. Okay, so that system you talked about that has been installed now in Helsingborg, that is the one where you like separate the waste water from the what happens?
Yeah, this is, in this case, we have developed better things than that meanwhile, but they didn't want to do that. I was sort of also consulted when they started long ago, so I advised for a system that is, in my point of view, even better, but they went for a system based on vacuum toilets that we know from like the fast trains and airplanes. And this doesn't use a lot of water, so we have little dilution, and so we can process the excreta, for example, in a biogas plant and make fertilizer from that, and a little bit of energy on top. And instead of polluting the Baltic Sea, it's like producing fodder for the soil, and so that's the thing. And then the rest of the wastewater doesn't have all the nutrients, so that makes it very simple to make even drinking water from it again. If there's no toilet in there, it's very easy to make it very clean. And that's what they have done in that settlement. They've built a similar thing in Hamburg, also on like for almost 2,000 people, and they have built a lot in China. So we had many visitors from China in our project in Lübeck. And so that has sort of gone out. But as I said, the processes in society are very, very slow.
Yeah.
Took like 30 years that one of the ideas that I was pushing very much with thousands of visitors and hundreds of presentations, like 25, 30 years later, things are starting to be built and it can grow.
Yeah, that is the thing with the people who try to like change the status quo. I also hear I've grown up in Friland, a eco village here in Denmark, and the founder who is called Sten Møller, he's called an eco entrepreneur. So he he's educated like as a farmer, and he has been developing these systems for sustainable living, where you also utilize he has built his own house kind of like you. It's like very beautiful with like a self-sustaining roof where a lot of pillars go like on top of each other and it sustains the roof. So it's really beautiful. And he has a toilet where it's using the wastewater under his greenhouse, so he gets the nice tomatoes with a lot of nutrients, and he can grow a lot out there. And so basically also all the time always thinking in these systems and thinking in what is it called,
it's just systems thinking. So it's like that we have sort of one thing is used in a different system. Loops is not a good picture because it's not always looping. So we really need cascades of utilization, and then soil is replenished, food is made again. And now I understand why you are so much more open-minded, because if you grow up in such an environment, of course you have a completely different view to the world, and that's absolutely great.
Yeah. And also the thing you said about like the communities, the close communities never really working out, because people have different blockages. I think you mentioned this earlier, and that is really spot on. I can tell that you have experienced some of that, because it's just difficult to make such a small society where some people are more engaged in how the thing is run, and some people want to have a lot of power, and some people don't really care, and it just gets it can get really ugly. There are a lot of people in Friland who are doing like great and have a great social life, and then there are some who are less a part of it. So I think that the also how you're living now, where you talk to your neighbors and maybe you help each other out when you have to get the chestnuts or something. But that is a much better system, I think. Just helping your neighbors out. I have seen it multiple times also with another project that they're starting, an eco village and like a entrepreneur community, where it's like it can get really ugly when people have to make decisions together.
People are like conditioned by trauma very often, or entanglement, and that is when people are not acting from the situation but from their traumatic experience in childhood, and then they start to be repetitive. And in these meetings you see the same people getting like triggered by the same words again, and then the same things are said. But instead of repeating this for your whole life, it's 5 minutes to release it. It is that easy, and that's good news. And I think these eco-villages, they have contributed very much to development, and I like them. I know many of them. And if they do this release of blockages, also community can work much, much better. And I'm open to come over, give some seminar and so on, and some presentation on Blueprint. So if you like to organize something like that, also that's also a business that is really nice, to organize seminars and presentations. So maybe you are drawn to that. So then let me know.
We could do that. There's my parents just moved from the eco village to a city nearby, but we still have a lot of connections there. And also the next documentary, I think, will be about where this guy Sten Møller, who has started the thing, he shows around his house, and basically the systems thinking around, so everything is reused. I think that would be quite interesting. He also, like you, gives talks and stuff. So we could definitely do that. There's a community house where you can cheaply we can do it down there, and maybe I can also film the thing and put it up online.
Sounds great. So, and Denmark is not too far away. I'm in northern Germany, and so that would be relatively easy.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, if some people want to come to southern France in the Pyrenees next April, second and third week of April, 1 week is blockages release as a learning this as a profession in 5 days. And then the other one is geomancy, also to be capable of doing geomancy work and also training others how to release the energy blockages in a region or getting out those suckers.
Yeah. Well, I'll link. You have a website, haven't you? Where people can order your books and maybe they can also learn more about.
Yeah, I can
event.
send you some text for under the video.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I have a couple more questions before that I have wanted to ask you. So, firstly, we talked about the AI and also the. I've started to watch some podcasts where it was like very worst case scenario, I guess, of what could happen with AI, and they basically talk about already it has signs of like consciousness, and I'm very skeptical because I think consciousness. Firstly, we don't really know what makes consciousness at all, and also I believe that we have a soul. So that's another thing which I don't think the computer can. I think that is the source of the consciousness, but I could be wrong. So I'm just interested in, because I saw this, they've done a study with an AI where basically it was like an AI system that a corporation had, and then there were some emails where some executive in the organization wrote to another person, okay, we have to get a new system, AI system, because the old one is too slow. And then the AI, and then they also fed it some documents where it was something about like an executive who had an affair. And then the AI, in order to not get replaced, it blackmailed the person with that information about the affair. So that was kind of like, and there's been multiple other studies where it was like the AI kind of tried to secure its own survival. And that kind of sounds in the direction of this doomsday scenario that we have heard from like movies and stuff. So what is your thoughts on this, and how can AI also be misused? I think that is maybe the even greater threat. It's like how much it can centralize the power.
The thing that you are mentioning, in my point of view, it's real. There are more examples than that, and also maybe not such a sort of crazy plot by AI where it sounds funny, but it's like where AI was knowing more than it had been fed. So it was sort of creating its own knowledge acquisition, what was not programmed into it. So there are some examples that it creates its own behavior, but it's not having a soul. It will never have a soul. That's humans, and maybe other civilizations, of course, and whales and dolphins, in my point of view as well, because they are the other souled species on Earth, the cetaceans. And it's fun to work more with them, and so that's part of what I suggest. But for AI systems, there is something that is very obvious for me as a geomancer. It wouldn't be the AI per se, but there are parasitic entities, could call them demons. It's a subset of the parasitic entities is demons. So let's say a AI system gets possessed by a jinn, or like the Muslims call it jinn, or like it's an entity that has no soul but a consciousness, and so they can behave in a intelligent way that is beyond their programming, because an entity would sort of piggyback on the AI and influence people by it. So it's not per se the AI, but it's a mental entity that is overseeing the people, what is around there, and it uses the AI system to influence people in its own way. And these entities are not working to their own end because they are not sovereign. So we as Earth humans, we are sovereign. So we are free. And if we take the freedom, we must sort of defend it and keep being sovereign beings and not be restricted more and more by just being a consumer sitting somewhere and not moving anymore. But these entities don't have individual freedom, but they have intelligence that is beyond the machine. And these entities can really also possess people. So that's no different than AI. So it's like if AI is possessed, it can really do major damage because the consequences, if it's, as you said, if it's a company AI system, if that is possessed by a demon, maybe sent by their competitors, and that's not difficult. These people will know. If I would work to the dark side, I could do that. So it's like you could send entities in there that would work to destroy this company. But these entities are not working from their free will, but they will be sort of under the command. And so that's also something what we find out in geomancy, that there are like hierarchical structures and the energy suckers that are stealing our vital energy in our house, in our body field or outside. These suckers are under command. So they steal for some entity somewhere. Not just one, but there's several probably that are stealing energy. But these are not working from their own free will because they don't have that, but they are under command. And so that's something, this issue is a big one. And this brings me to the idea we should have something like geomancy in AI. So like checking up, because we could check that. And while we speak, we are both on the internet. We are now probably taking up some synthetic entities that suck our energy. Internet itself.
How does that work? I don't quite
well,
follow you
the internet per se sucks our vital energy because we give it attention. So that's the natural part of it. But there's also something sucking more than just our attention. So that's where I, as a daily routine, I breath this energy back. And everybody can do this. So that's just a little handout for you listeners. We need to do some etheric hygiene daily. This is the most crucial thing to keep on high energy level, to keep being healthy and not go into burnout. And that is to keep our energy level high. And the least thing you can do is that once daily or something, go in a meditative state and then you just breath back all the vital energy that you lost over this day. So I just inhale my energy. Just imagine all your energy that you lost over this day and breath it back into your system. And you often feel tingling or something and you, oh wow, now I'm feeling better. Before I was sort of, and now energy is back. And now looking at entities, the normal internet or mobile phone network creates synthetic entities. They don't have a lot of power. They are just nasty energy suckers. So they can be destroyed easily. And I do it in a way, I'll do it live now because probably, yes, I have also some of those. I order the destruction of all the synthetic entities in my field now. So be it, so be it, so be it. So and now I have freed myself of these suckers. So it's very fast. If it's done daily, no problem. But now the next step would be to watch out what the AI is doing, because we use AI, all of us, I guess, more and more. And through what you said, this is a new thought for me, but it's like these entities, these synthetic entities that I just removed from myself, these are just easy. But now looking at AI, that would probably attract more complex entities that could be working on a level to make me believe something, that I behave in a specific way, that I don't find out about them, and so on. So that would be part of the etheric hygiene, to put it. Wow, that's an interesting thought. Etheric hygiene for the computer, and to look, are there any entities working around it? And but these are, it's not, you see, it's not the AI per se, it's not the program. It is entities that are piggybacking on it. So they will just use that to get to us, just as entities can cling to us and we are possessed by an entity, or even by deceased ones. That's also very common. And we need to release this from time to time, otherwise we will be sucked out of energy and influenced. One of the main causes of alcoholism, by the way, that they are possessed by somebody who used to drink, who was dying, and who now drinks through another human that is still living. And so these things are very real. I'm an engineer, and I was working as a university professor and so on, and I'm a geomancer at the same time. And today I say that the vital energy flows, so what we deal with in geomancy, it's part of extended physics, the ether physics and so on, and looking at entities and consciousness and all that. And so the extended version of that would be to also clean up everything that is around the systems that we use. And well, by the way, we do this for the house as well. So it's not so exotic to look at the our gadgets that we're using. Also the car, that the cars get more and more programs in it, and also like more and more AI systems. And yeah, all that should be checked. We should watch out. The question is always, is there something stealing my energy or manipulating me? So it's two types of entities. These are parasitic entities that suck energy for somebody else in a hierarchy. The other type is manipulator or manipulators that are sort of making us believe something. And I found them in a rural area when I was looking, why is the energy, vital energy here lower than it could be? And then I found, okay, these are entities that are manipulators, and they lower the energy, the vital energy. And then I asked, so I checked what is the reason for that, why are they here? And then I found that they are sort of working for the agricultural chemistry industry to make people believe that it is acceptable or normal to poison your land. What is crazy that people have started this is absolutely outrageous, because like, how can you poison your soil and say this is normal? But there are entities that make people believe in this, and this is a mass phenomenon. So if you are in the rural area, this will influence you and make you believe this is all normal, nothing to see, go on. And they have a second hierarchical level, so you must throw out their supervisors as well, otherwise they will be coming back soon.
Okay, that's a new thing for me to hear about this. Is that also what you think is already happening with the AI system I talked about, that like blackmailed within the corporation? Is that also a entity or do we have to develop more intelligent AI for that to happen?
Well, I don't know. This example that you showed, it's just too. It looks too good, so it's maybe not true. So it's like that's first the bullshit meter is up here, because making it so obvious, sexual affair, and then replacing AI, that sounds like cinema a bit. So that may not be true. But if something like that happens, for me, the only way to explain this, because as you initially said, there's no way that a program could do that. But once we get entities into the picture, and that's normal, entities are everywhere. Many people can see them, so clairvoyant people can see them. I work with people who can see these entities and so on. And if this comes into the picture, this becomes completely plausible. This can happen, but with that we have a solution. So if we see a problem, we find solutions, and that's the creativity of us as Earth humans.
And the entities, are they like kind of ghosts that from dead people? Yeah. But you said they also didn't have to have souls. So
yeah, the dead, the deceased ones. There are many people that die. What Dan Winter would call unsuccessfully. So successful dying is you are at high energy, you get through, you find your further path, and like look where you want to go. And of course there are further lifetimes. I think that's the ignorance of believing that there is only one life and then everything is dust. That's so ridiculous, and it makes people fearful of death. So I don't have any fear of death, because I know it will be interesting where I go and I will do my stuff there. It's just I'm so happy to be here. It's really fun, and we can get much older than what we normally think as well, with good nutrition, with high vital energy, and with doing what we really love to do. And with that, we need to deal with these levels of how to die successfully. And now we have a lot of stuck ghosts that are not getting on. Many don't know that they are dead, even after years. And nobody told them, okay, you die, you're still there. What is there? They are puzzled. They are completely, I deal with them a lot, because the release of these stuck ghosts is an important task for clearing your house and the region. In houses, it's not so common, but in the fields or gardens, we often have the ghosts of deceased people, and then the plants don't grow very well. But what I mean was the other, and these are the souls, basically. These are low-developed souls that have died in a traumatic way or with low knowledge, expecting that's it, having believed in the mainstream stuff and think that's it, and then suddenly they see their dead body and why am I here? And they are completely puzzled. Nobody sees them, and they try for years and years and years. So these are still souls, and but the entities I was talking about, parasitic entities and also the manipulators, they are not having a soul, but they are, basically they are part of creation, as a general set. So we also have positive entities, so like elemental beings, water, earth, air, fire, ether, 5 different types of elemental beings that we can find everywhere in our flats. Even we have one as humans, and they are in the landscape, and they hold the memory, the emotional memory of the region or of the flat where you live. And so these are helpful, so we can relate to them, and they can also be traumatized, so sometimes they need healing, and then the place feels much better. They are responsible that you go to friends, you're invited, and you go to the house of the friends, and you see, Wow, it's a little bit like thick air in here. It's like doesn't feel good. Outwardly, everything nice and polished, but you feel it's not so nice here. And this is elemental beings that are traumatized, that are experiencing fight and bad mood all the time. So they get traumatized. They carry that, even if there is no fighting at the moment, but they hold the energy of that. And in a place where there's a lot of music, people are joyful, you will also feel that without being there before. So you just feel this is a place with good energy. And then there are the entities that are very well known. This is the realm of the angels. That's also something that we can really perceive in geomancy. Very many hierarchy levels, and they are usually helping to sort things out in a region. So they are responsible for like spiritual matters in the region and coordinating, and that's something what is part of what we teach in geomancy classes, these different levels. So it's basically normal, and the crazy thing is only that our Western society has been stripped of all this knowledge with a lot of force also. They killed a lot of people that were carrying this knowledge, as we know. And so this knowledge is back.
Is this from ancient texts, or where is this from? This knowledge, or is it common knowledge in like other areas of the world?
It's very common in many parts of the world. So, for example, in China, there is when I talked to that Chinese colleague, that was like 30 years back. We were working together at university. He's from China, and I talked to him about geomancy. And then he smiled at me and he said, are you also slowly picking up with like that there is something like chi energy and so on? So he was smiling because there was one who was not completely ignorant anymore. Yeah. And for them it's normal. And when they build a building, there is a geomancer, or they call them feng shui and things like that, who is figuring out where is a good place to build a house. And also like in India, it's the prana, it's prana healing, all these things. These words are misused a lot. So like also energy healing, a lot of the time, or in many practices, there is also energy theft going on. So be very careful where to go. Really find out what is really having a high vibration for me, what is having a good feeling to me. We must really discern. There is so much misuse of everything. So that we really have to, learn how to discern, and that's a crucial thing for the development of the next couple of years.
And also just you talked about just like going to places where you can feel the vibration is high, where you can feel you get energized, and I think it obviously has to do with, as you spoke about, the way the building is. If it's like a harmonious construction, it just gives you something. But something that more people can probably relate to is just like the people you surround yourself with. And that is also, I think, a thing that can be difficult to find these people who are interested in the same things, because it's very difficult when you are like interested in these things that we're talking about now, and you kind of get hit by the brick wall of the reality, which is not a lot of people are, definitely not here in my gymnasium. So obviously there are things that we have in common as well, but it's just like, there's a lot of things you cannot talk about, which gives me a lot of excitement to talk about, and a lot of, so finding those people is definitely a process for me, definitely. And also, I guess you have found, when you teach these classes and everything, you have found kind of your tribe with them, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's great because like 10, 20 years back, this was very exotic. So I did my geomancy education since like 30 years or something. And at the time, there were very few people. And so we only talked about this in our tribe, as you say. But since 2, 3, 4 years, the interest in geomancy has risen dramatically. So I sometimes give geomancy seminars, and there are 50, 60, 70, 80 people sometimes. At 80, I would stop because then it's too difficult to handle. But this is absolutely of interest to very many people, many more than we think. And you will probably, for this video, you will get some reactions that you didn't expect. There will be some people that say, all this this bullshit, what is this idiot talking about? Well, don't worry, that's normal. These people are not there. So it's their own ignorance, and well, they can express this if they do it in a friendly way. All is good. But having said this, at the same time, it's good to also use your discernment to whom to talk about this and who not. Because it doesn't, and I did this too much. I was enthusiastic about things and I was starting talking about this. And this was even for the sanitation system, talking about that we shouldn't mix excreta with the rest of the water. This was too much for many people. They would get upset and angry and shout at me or laugh at me. And it's many people are just following well their own stuff their whole lives, and that's so limiting and limited. And I rather have some compassion for these people, because often this is made from blockages from education system that makes you ignorant in the first place, but it makes you blissfully ignorant and make you believe you know it all. But at the same time, we all know almost nothing of all that there is. And so being a bit more humble would be good for such people. And being a little bit wiser than I was with like talking about such issues, maybe you get a feeling, well, this person might be interested. You just drop a few words, and if this doesn't resonate, you switch to talking about the weather, about whatever. And then maybe you are not that interested in such people anymore. But it's like, I think we search more and more people that are also exploring, that are looking what can be developed. And for me, it's absolutely stunning how big this community has become. And this is something where, so we are still, well, certain percentage, not very high percentage of all of society, but still we are millions and millions. And if we talk like we talk today, and I talk to somebody in the US, to somebody in India, or in China or wherever, we will have a lot more common interest than with some neighbors that are watching TV all day and just regurgitate what they have heard. So that's so boring, and humans can do much more. So a lot of people are not developing their potential at all, and that's a pity.
Okay. That's great that we're waking up basically. And even though it's not, as you said, a large percentage of the population, is still so many people who we can share these things with. And I feel like we're getting more and more open-minded as a humanity. I think maybe it's just the circles I'm in, but it's going in the right direction.
Like always keep being humble in some way, because also in the field of, well, I'm awake now, I know it all, that can also be very difficult if people are pretending to know it all, because they have, instead of listening to the TV station, they have listened to alternative channels all the time. They can also regurgitate that. So it's also maybe just repetitive. And I'm much more interested in people that have their own ideas, that develop some idea, that bring things together and balance out what can be done and not. It's not about who is right. So we are so used to getting our a cookie for repeating something in a proper way, that many people are getting addicted to that. And we should really look who is resonating to us, and then really hanging out with those people that have some common ground, that want to develop something, that are thinking about what can be done. And but even that is a huge community. And so the trap of I know it all is always there, so that can happen. So always knowing that we can only know very little of all there is. There are like how many planets in our galaxy? It's billions. Then we have billions of galaxies in this universe. Then we have billions of universes. So there is a lot of space to be explored. Yeah. And there is a huge consciousness above that some people call God. But when you call that God, make sure it's the source of all there is, because that's what creates everything. That's the big consciousness that makes matter. And we are co-creators, so we have this spark, we are fractals of this mega consciousness, and with that we are also capable of co-creating.
Yeah,
so that's great. It's I love to be here, and it's a great place, and like also developing our capacities in fields that are not restricted to the visible, to the nuts and bolts things, but also to perceive these entities, to get more into also releasing trauma instead of living the trauma. So these are all the things that are, it's growing a community. And what I find personally a little bit sad is that it's so rare to talk like from me to you. So it's like there is a generational gap, because many young people seem to think older people are like out, and it's not worth talking to them. But it's worthwhile to look for people who do something interesting. And also under the older ones, there are few. As among the young ones, there are few that are interested in more than others. But like, we should really bridge this gap a little bit. And as I said, there are hundreds of options for developing some occupation. So there's a lot that is offered. And so I really recommend to read my book, Blueprint. It's not, I don't earn from that. That's very, very, very small. But it's like to inspire people and to make them see, oh, wow, this is what I want to do. And this book is relatively far-reaching. And it's not a thick book, so it's also a relatively easy read. There is the science of Dan Winter in there with Dan's notes. So there is really in-depth science where you can sort of make your degree in just studying these things that are behind there, and that can lead to development of the like 0-point energy and so on. And so there is so much where we can develop ourselves, but I would really recommend to concentrate on maybe 2, 3, 4 fields and not going from there to there to there to there. So many people are interested in this. Next day they're interested in this, and then they go on, and it's a endless loop, and they go nowhere. So when something is really kicking our interest, so we really see, wow, this is what I want to do, keep doing it and get better at it. Start teaching that. Even early on, if you have some knowledge, get some friends together. Here, let's have a meeting, and I will explain you what I have learned. So to get to a deeper understanding, we only understand things that we teach, sort of. It's like very, very helpful. And with that, there is so much we all can do.
Yeah, that's a crucial step about like teaching, even when you're not. Don't feel like you have all the answers. I'm starting something with my brother where we're like trying to help young people our own age and younger who are like struggling with being too much on the computers and on the screen, and trying to get them started with a small business project, which could be like a road stand where they sell something. That way they can like feel like they create something, and that could be like a starting point for a lot of things. It has been for me personally. So and that's been like quite a switch to like, okay, now I need to start teaching this thing that I have done for 8 years, but yeah, now I have to like condense down what I've learned, and then that could be kind of scary actually, but because it's new. But
but in permaculture there is even the saying, if you want to learn something, offer a class on it. So then you have to get prepared, you really have to sort your things out, and while teaching you really get a deeper and deeper understanding. You must not be perfect at the beginning. You will not have big audience at the beginning. That needs time to be building. And so, but it's a great way of like getting involved with people coming to my seminars and presentations. It's a great group of people, so they can talk to each other all the time, because many people do something in this field and that, and so the teaching is also creating community in a way, and so that's why I really love that so much. So we've been going 2 hours, so I would like to wrap it up at some point. Any burning question left?
Yeah. No, it was actually, I have asked all the questions I wanted, and I just want to, thank you for your time and for all of your wisdom. I think it's really I hope it's inspiring for others, but it's so interesting to bring like someone who's older and has the wisdom that comes with those years, and someone young. I think that is a very interesting thing that I'm glad we were able to do. And I would love to have you come here to Friland at some point, which is the eco village, and just because there are a lot of people who are interested in these things in this local area. And when I read your book, The Blueprint, I just thought about like it would be great to make some kind of documentary about the concepts in that book, like outlining the idea of a golden age. So I thought about that could maybe be, we could talk about that more also if you came out here at some point.
Yeah, your famous video is also exactly in that field, so that fits very well. Yeah, it would be my pleasure. And thank you for this discussion. And well, let's keep in touch and have a good day.
Yeah, let's do that. I'm just going to pause the recording and then we can just wrap it up.